Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Maya. Before I get into this video, I just want you to like and subscribe and enjoy the view. Kind of wanted to make this video quite quick, which might not happen because I chat too much. Over the past few days, especially after my last video, I've spoken to a lot of strong women. The only unfortunate thing about that is it's been women that I'm very, very close to, and I didn't know or realise that they were going through the same things that I had went through. It just kind of made me feel like I should have been there for them. But how are you supposed to know when it's not said, do you know what I mean? And that's the only thing with abusive relationships, that you don't know someone's in it until they say they've been through it or they're in it or whatever. And it's a shame, but they're all good now, thank God. That video, the last video that I did help them quite a lot, which I'm really happy about. But I just wanted to touch on the aftermath, as one of them did request that I'll go into it a bit more. I'm happy that I got that request. I remember going through YouTube and seeing obviously girls make videos of, you know, domestic violence, but it was usually like a year later, a few months later, where they're probably already in new relationships and they've moved on and they've had babies and whatever. I'm making these videos 3 months after it's happened. Like, I'm not playing. Like, this is not a game. It's not something to be toyed with, especially within the first few months. The first few weeks or so were the hardest, and I'm really glad I didn't start recording then. I'm glad that I gave myself some time, because I can't say I'm 100% healed from the situation, but I'm better than what I was. I think it was just more so harder to heal because I could still see the physical wounds. Like, my body was in agony for at least a month, so I couldn't really heal mentally, knowing that I still had that reminder that I'd been beat up basically. But now I can say I'm completely like okay physically. It's just mentally and emotionally I'm just getting back to myself. I just wanted to make that clear, that this is why I'm doing it, because this is the period that no one really talks about. Aftermath basis, there's a lot of things that go into the aftermath after an abusive relationship, but there's main ones that I feel like me personally have gone through, to where it's the guilt hits you probably straight after. When you've been in an abusive relationship, that person becomes the center of your world. That person becomes that one person that you depend on for everything, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, sexual, don't matter. That person is your whole world. And when you come out of that relationship, you have to then try and make it on your own. You have to try and start learning who you are, getting to know your family again, especially if they've isolated you, they've put you in a corner and they've kept you away from your friends, they've told you can't talk to your family. You have to then start to get to know your family, know that you can trust them. When this person has drilled into your head that, they're not gonna listen to you anyway, blah, 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 blah. It's very hard to trust your family, honestly. Like, it's very hard to talk to them about certain things, and that's something that you end up having to learn to do all over again. And sometimes you can get so angry with them because there's some things you want to say but you don't know if you're going to get judged, and you sit there and you think, well, you're my family, you're not supposed to judge me, you're not supposed to make me feel any worse than I do you know what I mean? But they're not out there to do that, they're there to help you, and it's very hard to remember that in a state of pain, mental pain for that matter. You have to get to know your people again. For me, it's been hard. It's been hard getting to know my family all over again, especially with what's going on now with this quarantine situation. I'm obviously separated from my siblings, and even though we talk on WhatsApp, I can't, it's not the same as being around them, because even then, like on WhatsApp, we can go weeks without talking to each other. Like, it's not as intimate as it used to be when we was all just together and able to just dip and dab between people's houses and all that. So that kind of makes it a bit harder for me. But I'm here with my mum. My mum's here staying with me, and sometimes, I did it yesterday actually, and I was like, imagine, and I went, I don't matter. She was like, Maya, what? I was like, don't matter. Like, it was something that I thought I would get judged on, but I just thought, no, I'm not telling you. And then I told her like 15 minutes later anyway, because I had to kind of build up that courage to be able to talk to her. Now, second part of it is dating. This is a big one because unfortunately, everyone has been abused in some way or another in their life, whether it's emotional, mental, sexual, it don't matter. Everyone has gone through it. Whether they know it or not, they've been through it. Whether they acknowledge it or not, they've been through it. Dating after you've come out of an abusive relationship. Now, I can say from my personal situation, dating has not been a problem for me. Honestly, I can say that hand on my heart. I'm very comfortable with being around men, surprisingly. I'm very comfortable meeting new people. In my head, mentally, I've been single since October 2018 when I found out he was cheating on me. I've been single from then. Like, I kind of withdrew myself from him from then. I still stayed in the relationship with him because of obviously him threatening to kill himself and blah, blah, blah. I still stayed with him because of that, but I didn't stay with him because I loved him. You get me? So dating hasn't been an issue for me because I've had time to draw back from this geezer. Like, I had time. Yeah, it didn't just happen instantly. It didn't happen, you know, after that situation. It weren't just like a build-up of hate and then me saying, oh, I'm gonna go off and deal with somebody else. It was not that. I had a good year to detach myself from this guy, with all the nitty-gritty things in between, but that was, you know, just for the fact that I stayed with someone who was mentally unstable. Do not rush. Yeah, I put emphasis on that. Do not rush to get yourself into a relationship or dating after you've been through something like that, because that is where the cycle of abuse starts. No man or woman is born to abuse someone. They're not born angry, yeah? They're not born in pain. They're not born like that, but it happens over time when they enter situations where they have to be someone that they're not. So for example, my ex-partner, when he got with me, he thought he had to be something he wasn't. He thought he had to be someone different than my exes. He knew my 2 exes and he knew what my exes had done to me, and he wanted to be different. He pushed and pushed and pushed, and I told him, it is not your job to right someone else's wrongs. It is my job to get over it and for me to be able to grow from that and move on from that. It's not your job to fix it. No matter how many times I said that to him, he didn't listen and he carried on. He didn't know who he was because he was trying so hard to be something that he wasn't. He was taking assets from other people's personalities and trying to put it into one person. And there were some assets that were clashing with others. So, you know, one part of him's being told, be gentle, be kind, and then another side of him's being told, nah, be rough, be hard with it, put your foot down. So there was a clash of traits. Which meant that he would just have random outbursts of anger every now and again because he just didn't know who he was as a person from his past relationships. Because from the conversation me and him used to have, that's something that he used to do in his other relationships as well, was try and fix them, try and make them a way that it's easier for him to deal with. And that's, again, something he tried to do with me, but I don't listen. So honestly, dating is a big one. When you've been in an abusive relationship and you try and get with someone new, and you try and get into a new relationship, you're not going into that relationship thinking, I want this man to love me. You go into the relationship thinking, I want my ex to see me be loved. I want him to see that someone sees my worth. Biggest mistake you can ever make, because then it's almost like you're leading on that new partner just because you're trying to get your own back on your ex. Again, this is why I can say I'm way past that point, because I know, it's gonna sound salty, but I know anyone I get with now is completely 100% better than that. Like, I can tell you that hand on my heart. Now that I know signs and red flags and all them kind of things there, I know that the next person I pursue is going to be 100 times better than that. I ain't going to need to worry about all that. If I was one of them people that was dipping and dabbing and going into this and coming out of that, going into this and coming out of that, I'm not going to know what's right for me. I had to get to know myself and get to know what I like and what I don't like in order to be able to go out into the world and date. And I feel like a lot of people can relate with that. Like I said, be by yourself, learn how to love you, find things out about yourself that you didn't know before, traits, talents, skills, hobbies, get to know you, foods you don't like and foods you do like, you know what I mean? Just learn to be on your own for a little bit before you decide to let someone else in, which is nice when you do eventually let someone in and they see you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they see you. They don't see you as the physical, but they see you as the spiritual. And that is a big thing, especially when you felt so invisible for so long. It is very nice when someone sees you. And then the last one I'd say, which is a big one, is sex. Now, this is a touchy one. It is a very touchy one because, you know, there's a situation that I have not spoken about that happened within my last relationship. And I can say that when you have been sexually abused in a relationship, you don't see it as sexual abuse, yeah? Because that whole, oh, if you're in a relationship, right, don't count, da 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 da. It does. If someone's forcing you to have sex and you really don't want to, that is rape, right? Do not rush to do that. Do not rush. Don't do it. I swear to you, do not rush to have sex, because you will put yourself and the other person in such a crappy situation that you won't be able to forgive yourself for it. It's almost like, again, same with dating, you will be having sex with that person to kind of prove to that person that you can do it, that, oh, I can move on, I can do this, I can do that, but then you're hurting yourself because you're not doing it for you. You're not even doing it for the other person. You're doing it for someone that don't know your worth. Do you know what I mean? that never respected you. Like, you're doing it for someone that can't even see you. Do you know what I mean? And then that's something that you carry with you. I've heard people get married. People get married just to try and prove a point. Do you know what I mean? That's a deep commitment that you make just to try and get back at somebody. I've heard of that happening, and they're not in very happy marriages right now. So it does happen, and it is unfortunate, but you know, that is why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because it's still so fresh to talk about it, where I'm still kind of in it, like mentally wise. Like, I'm not, you know, like I say, dating's no problem for me. Anything else ain't no problem for me. But it's just me getting to know me. Do you know what I mean? Me getting to know me and loving myself. And I can tell you, honey, I don't think I've loved myself more. You know, I have bad days, as you can tell from the last video. I do have bad days. But I can say that I have more days like this, where I'm upbeat and I'm happy and I'm over the moon and I'm ecstatic just because I am me. I have more days like this than I have like that. They're just days where I do remember where I've came from. Obviously, it's not a pretty place. So sometimes I have to sit in it and just feel it, just to remind myself of who I am now and where I'm going. So yeah, a big part of the aftermath, I would say, for me, was as soon as that guilt kicked in, and within the first few weeks, I remember my mum used to come to me and be like, Maya, what do you feel guilty for? Why do you feel guilty? Like, what did you do? And I'd be like, nothing, but I just feel bad. Like, I feel really bad. And my family would just say to me, like, Maya, there's a lot of things that may have happened in that relationship, but you did not ask to get beat up. There is a certain period as to where a lot of women go back. Like I said earlier, you have to learn to live in the world by yourself. So there is that period where some women do go back because they just can't deal with it. They can't cope with having to live in the world on their own. It is a sad thing. It is a very sad thing. And some women go back because it is all they've got. And some women genuinely go back because they've already shut out all their family and they've already locked off all their friends, where this person's all they've got, and they'd have nowhere else to go. Like, if they was to leave, where would they go? They'd have nowhere to go, so they just stay where they are because it's easier, it's more convenient for them to just stay put. I remember very vaguely sitting down with my ex one day. We weren't together at this point, and he sat down and he was like, Maya, if you ever got with someone and they put their hands on you, would you tell me? And I looked at him and I was like, brother, do you not see yourself? Like, how can you say that to me? Like, it's almost like they don't actually believe that they've done it to you. Like, it's almost like, you know, it's just, that was just a bit of a random one, but I just thought I'd share that because I think a lot of women go through that thing where they've gone through it, but then that person will sit there denying that they've even done it, and it's just like, bruh, do you not remember? Because I sure do. Yeah. It's one of them things. The reason why I'm doing this so early is so that you can see the ugly that come with it. It's not making it look so pretty, because that's where people get mistaken, and that's where people think, oh, I'll get over it, and then they go through it themselves, and then they're like, yo, you did not tell me. Like, you didn't tell me I was going to go through that. I have a lot of love to give, and I think I've said it before, I don't want to see anyone go through it, especially people that I know, because it's honestly heart-wrenching. The messages that I have been getting have broken my heart. That's why I do these videos now, just to kind of be there for people and help people heal, help them through their journey, and just be there to answer them questions that they thought they're weird for asking, or that they've thought they'd never get an answer to. I can tell you from now, there's certain questions that I've asked myself that I will not get the answer to. I feel like I've touched on the important parts of it, the main parts of it. There is obviously a few more nitty-gritty bits and a bit more parts that obviously have to do with people who have got kids with the person that they've been in an abusive relationship with. That's obviously just a completely different area to touch on. But I hope that me doing this gives you another output and helps you on your own journey, to where you understand that you're not alone in the situation, and that there is someone that you can relate to and that you can message if you need to. I'm always down for that, honestly. Love is love, so I've got a lot to give. With that being said, I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. God bless and enjoy you. Love you. And I'll see you in the next video.